Got some very, very big shoes to fill.
Oh, and you know what they say about big shoes.
Only clowns wear them.
Mate, you need to calm down. Okay? you can't keep doing this. Oh god. God damn it, Yaku. They're all clowns, papi.
As we jump straight into Waterfall, we're in the bottom left-hand corner map, starting all the way in that bottom left-hand corner. We, of course, have our red Protoss player coming out from the land of China. He, of course, is going to be representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG. He is JieShi.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Waterfall, we have his opponents representing Onside Gaming, the South Korean Zerg player. It is Solar. OSG. The final hope here, the last Zerg player of the tournament. Su just got taken out by Classic, and Solar is the only one remaining. And can he make it to the finals? Can he make it all the way just so we can have a little bit more diversity? Or is it going to be another TBT?
Potentially.
Potentially.
It's gotta be.
Oh.
He did already make it to the finals last week, and he played a very, very, very close series against Time. So, yeah, if there was ever a Zerg player to carry that torch in ESL Open Cup Asia, it definitely would be Solar. But he's got a very long path ahead of him. He's got to face Protoss players and Terran players, and then probably another Terran player or another Protoss player.
Yeah, he does have a lot ahead of him. We'll see how his road goes. Meanwhile, JieShi has been also performing surprisingly well, both in World Team League and in ESL Open Cup Asia's. Like, JieShi's been getting some pretty solid results. He's been able to take down some pretty big names. He still isn't quite a favorite, but he has really been kind of making a name for himself in these weekly tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, in the Chinese region, he has, I think, pretty solidly been top 3 for quite some time, but now it looks like he is finally going to be breaking a little bit into top 2 or into potentially even top 1. If he can face Time eventually.
Yeah, and that could even happen today. You know, Time is also in the bracket as well. If both players have kind of a miracle run to face each other in the grand finals. But until that happens, we're still here in this PvZ. Nothing too crazy going on. Solar forced to take the unnatural natural as to be expected. No early gases. He does pull out as well. And JieShi likewise. Nothing too crazy out of his build order either.
Yep, just gonna be Stargate first. Should be seeing a couple of oracles come out from there.
Now we should see some oracles on the way. I mean, the Stargate is kind of rallied towards the Overlord, which makes me think maybe it's going to be a Void Ray, especially because there aren't any Stalkers, and yeah, Void Ray first.
Not unheard of in the current meta. You don't see it anywhere near as often as previously, but there are still some Protoss players who just really like hunting down these Overlords.
Yeah, and this is really going to throw a wrench in the works here, at least when it comes to Solar. He's going to be in the dark, he's not going to know what his opponent is doing, and we ourselves are going to have to piece it together here because 3 additional gateways have been thrown down. We have 4 gates in total. Can Solar spot this before his Overlord goes down?
4 gates and a Twilight Council. The fact that there's a Void Ray out here right now should be a little bit of a tell here for Solar, but I don't think that's anywhere near enough for him to, accurately predict what's going on here. There's the glaives being researched right now.
Yeah, 4 gate glaive adepts. Solar was able to catch a glimpse of a gateway, and that's a bit of a tell that it is going to be focused a lot more on ground toss. It's going to take a little bit longer to really get into anything else. His Ling is going to be able to confirm a 3rd Nexus, so he at least knows it's not going to be all in.
Yeah, he's playing this out cautiously. He's getting Spore Crawlers in a Spore Crawler in a base that doesn't have too many queens. He is still getting his Roach Warren.
Yeah, getting a safety Roach War, and the Void Ray tries to be a little bit cheeky, but doesn't get any kills here. It does take a lot of hull damage, though. Meanwhile, Solar, even though he's preparing, he doesn't quite know that whether it's going to be, you know, Charge Lots or Blink Stalkers or Glaive Adepts. He's still trying to prepare for whatever comes his way.
Yeah, he's maintaining flexibility in his defense right now, and there's the tell. He knows it's going to be Adepts. Immediately, he holds down that R key to produce as many roaches as possible.
Yeah, we need roaches, we need lings, we need nothing but army right now. The Queens are going to be able to meet this head on, going to be able to force the Adepts back for a moment. Meanwhile, the Adepts, they shade into natural.
I'm kind of surprised he committed to that shade. Already we've seen evacuation of the probes and a full surround here of Queens and roaches on top of these Adepts. A lot of them going to go down.
Oh, exactly. A lot of Adepts do go down. Meanwhile, they shade in towards the third base. 2 drones have been picked off, but only 2 drones. Solar's been doing a great job at keeping the workers away from these Adepts and has really minimized his losses.
That's what happens when you play reactive as a Zerg player.
Yeah, he's done a great job so far. He was able to deflect all of this aggression, but JieShi cannot stop here. He's going across the map with another wave of Adepts. He's transitioning into Immortals, but he has to buy time. He has to make sure that Solar stays at home and long enough for those Immortals to come out. Yeah,
and that's going to take quite some time, to say the least. Waterfall is a very, very short map. Solar should be able to, you know, end the game with a counterattack, but he'd still get quite a bit of damage done here with the Ling run by.
Oh, he really could, but you know what? The Adept shade in. They get 3 more drones, 6, 7 in total going down, so not bad at all. It looks like the Adept should be able to shade out without losing too many of them.
Yeah, only a handful. And of course, as long as a couple of them are still alive, he's going to be able to halt the spread of the creep here. He's going to be able to have a little bit of map control, and or I guess a little bit of map presence, I should say.
Yeah, I don't know if I like this. He's actually moving out with his Immortal here and with a handful of Stalkers. He's looking to try and deny the 4th base. Really ambitious. We do see a Ling force here behind the army, getting ready to go for a bit of a counterattack. And here we go. He's going to try and deny the 4th.
In best case scenario, I think he should be able to maybe force a cancel, but even that's going to be very, very difficult right now. The Lings turn around to get an immediate surround, and everything's going down.
Yeah, the 4th base is saved. The mass surround was real. Ooh, the Void Ray even gets sniped out of the sky.
Wow. Again, another very solid defense here from Solar, and in the end, his 4th base is still going to be up and running. It didn't get delayed whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. So that investment from JieShi was all for nothing. He's forced to back on up. He lost so much supply in that attack. He kept his Immortal alive, but Solar, he smells blood in the water. He knows it's time to counterattack.
Yeah, he wants to just keep the pressure on right now. He's waiting for the first sign of a slip up here from JieShi, where he can really just send every single unit in.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be waiting a little bit longer. It looks like Bailing Speed is on the way. We have plus on melee as well. We're working on a 5th base as soon as the 4th got up and running. And JieShi, he needs to somehow buy some time and deal some counter damage. He does have a Prism, and it looks like he's going to be able to maybe force a cancel, but with only 3 Zealots, I don't know if he really does have enough here. JieShi gets supply blocked.
Oh, this is actually killing him right now. Soul's about to be maxed out.
Yeah, Jesus, 6 pylons thrown down here. If he wasn't supply blocked, he would have been able to warp in a massive wave of Zealots and would have been able to maybe force a cancel. That wouldn't like bring him back into the game, but it's something, right? It's better than nothing, and unfortunately he just wasn't able to pull anything off.
Yeah, now Soul is up to 5 bases.
Yeah,
very quickly.
Yeah, all the way up to 5 bases. Meanwhile, here we go. There are no sentries, by the way, to use force fields up. Oh my god, the Bailings roll in!
Those Zealots didn't even charge into their death. The Banelings just ran into them. An entire mineral line goes down to another Baneling run by, and Solar, he's clinched it, man.
He really has. We see some Zealots warped in towards the main base, but Solar is quick to respond. He does end up saving them in the end. Only 2 drones go down. Meanwhile, we do see the army rotating over towards the 4th base. The Overseer was just sniped, so JieShi's kind of maybe even feigning some DTs, but now Solar doesn't care.
Not in the slightest. He's keeping this pressure up. I do appreciate that Solar is playing this out safe. You know, he's not just standing his ground and losing his army before he can regroup. No, he's just being a little bit more tactical about this.
He really is. And here we go. He backs up. He gets a couple of reinforcements to engage this army. At the same time, the Prism does slip in towards the 5th base just to harass and draw away the attention of Solar, which he does do, but only for a moment as it gets cleaned up.
Yeah. Actually draws the entire army of Solar back.
Yeah, we do see him splitting off his army as well, trying to get ready for a drop in towards the main base. Like, JieShi is surviving, or he's living a little bit longer here, but oh god, he still has a lot to catch up on, especially because of that massive bailing run by we saw earlier, or we didn't see earlier, but happened.
Yeah. Well, we saw it, just, you know, not with our eyes.
That's true. Hold on!
Ooh! Very juicy Nova. Was able to connect with a huge chunk of the Banelings. So that actually gives JieShi a little bit of breathing room. Is it going to be enough? I doubt it, but we'll see what he can get done from here.
Oh my god, oh, there's no reaction. The Ling Bane gets a full surround and completely swallows up the main army of JieShi. He gets a kill on the 5th base, but at what cost?
Cost of his entire army, pretty much. Solar had a bit of a bank, quite a bit of a bank in both minerals and gas, and now he is just spending it and sending it all the way across the map.
Yeah, like any kind of momentum that JieShi once had is now gone. He does have one disruptor here, so he's looking for maybe another miracle connection. He does send out the Nova, but this time Solar's looking.
Yeah, I think most of those units actually went down to the Stalkers rather than the Nova.
Exactly. Once again, we see another bailing run by. Oh god!
GG is called, and Solar takes game number 1.
GG, well played. JieShi having a bit of a tricky opener on Waterfall, and I feel like you got to do something tricky if you're going up against Solar, but mate, Solar, he was just so solid. He didn't know what he was up against, but he was able to prepare anyway.
Yeah, he was absolutely in control of that game, start to finish. More than willing to just, you know, use JieShi's force against him in a way.
Oh boy, exactly. And now we're going to be getting into game number 2. To be fair, I don't expect JieShi to go for the same Glaive Adept opener.
Yeah, I expect him to go for a proxy robo.
Yeah, I guess he could.
But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Indeed, we shall. I forgot about the countdown. That would have been perfectly timed. Indeed, we shall. As we shall see, as we load into data under the sea. There we go. Nailed it. We're in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We, of course, have our red Protoss player coming out from the land of China. He's going to be representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming DPG. He is JieShi.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of data under the sea, we have his opponent representing On Side Gaming. Oh my god, going for a pool first opener. It is Solar.
Yeah, not a 12 pool, so he's not going to be hyper aggressive, but still a pool first regardless. And if I know Solar, he is not one to go for defensive pools.
Yeah, I'm really surprised by this because Solar isn't a very cheesy player, so I don't expect him to go into a fast Roach Warren. I'll be pleasantly surprised if he does, because then he's going to be having a little bit of fun. But yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah, you say fast Roach Warren. I say Laren Hive, or Laren Hydra Den.
Mate, he is reading this so well. JieShi goes for a Gate Forge, cancels the Forge as he scouts the pool first.
Dude.
JieShi was going to cannon rush.
Yeah, and I appreciate that JieShi is still trying to fake out a cannon rush here, but I mean, nothing's going to come out from this pylon.
Yeah, well, I mean, Solar knows.
Cancel?
Yeah, he goes for the cancel. Solar knows he doesn't have to react because he already has the pool first. So Lings come out anyway. I have to wonder if there's some history here. I have to wonder if JieShi has done this to Solar before. Yeah.
I never. Wait, I'm trying to remember here. Solar. No, Solar was never on DPG. He was on TSG.
He was.
It was kind of like the precursor to DPG.
Yeah.
But
So, go on.
yeah, no, this is. I have to assume that they do face off against each other pretty often.
Yeah, maybe in a previous ESL weekly tournament, or maybe a Wardy tournament or something along those lines. But regardless, Solo was so prepared for the gate cannon rush, the gate forge opener. Bearing in mind that it was a gateway first, so because of that, it wasn't hyper committed. So JieShi can transition, but he is, of course, you know, a wrench was thrown into the works of his build, and he is going to be slowed down because of it.
Yeah. And he is just trying to catch up however he can. He is transitioning now to his Twilight Council and just trying to keep an eye on things with his Adept and with his Probe.
Yeah, he's going to be a little bit active here. We do see, as you were saying, a Twilight Council opener, not a Stargate, which means Solar, he's going to be able to have free reign and scout everything. We do see the Adept slipping on in, but not really committing to a shade. Ooh, JieShi is setting up a proxy pylon.
Oh. For what?
That is the question. Oh my god, for a Dark Shrine!
You love to see it.
Wow.
And this is going to be completely unscouted by Solar. I mean, he sent his Overlord behind a mineral line here by the natural base, but not quite by the Dark Shrine. Is this, I was going to say, is this Stalker actually going to hurt the Overlord into the Dark Shrine?
Hopefully it doesn't. So we do have the proxy being set up. Looking at the vision of Solar, he hasn't come across the pylon, and what's important is that we have a Stalker, and this means that it shouldn't be a Stargate opener. That's typically what a Stalker telegraphs. So Solar has less reason to throw down spores. He believes it's a Twilight Council instead. He's going for a Roach Warren, which makes sense in case it's Glaive Adepts, when it's going to be anything but.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a lair either. He can't get Overseers.
No Overseers, no spores. How much longer is Solo going to be cutting corners here? Because the Dark Shrine is about to finish up. The Overlord hasn't seen anything. It looks like Solo does get a little bit distracted. He does spot the third base. Everything is looking quite normal.
I think this is just GG. The two DTs have already finished up. And the Spore Crawlers are only now thrown down.
He needs to focus on these Spore Crawlers. We'll see if he can. All three DTs head towards the natural.
Body blocking not quite there for this natural base Spore Crawler.
Exactly, and JieShi had some options here. At the same time, the Lings do force a cancel on the third base. He's going to get a kill on the natural, but he forgoes drone damage.
Yeah, so we'll see if this ends up working out for him. Spore did finish up now in the main, but there are only queens to defend.
Only queens to defend. Looks like the spores have been repositioned. The DTs are being surrounded as we speak, and yeah, they didn't really get too many worker kills. They got 2 drone kills, I think, but killing the third base is pretty important. And there we go. We see a recall.
Yeah, not game ending just yet here for JieShi, but enough to really get himself back on equal footing.
I'm torn here. I really like what JieShi was able to accomplish. He did bamboozle Solar, like he did catch him off guard. But if you look at the units lost tab, I assumed that it was a cancel at the third. JieShi lost Nexus. That was a kill.
Yeah, I just assumed it was a cancel as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Suddenly he's not in that great of a position as he otherwise would have been.
He really isn't. I mean, he's got Archons. He can try to turtle up on 3 bases and then eventually slowly break into a 4th base, but he's just completely given up his map control. Solar can do whatever he wants from here on out.
He really does. He really can, and right now he's just going to be droning on up. He's working on Roach speed for his Roach army. JieShi's going to be trying to move out across the map here, and he does catch some Lings. But this isn't really an army that can really deal with mass Roach, and that's what he's going to be running into.
Yeah. And, I mean, there's a little bit of a window of opportunity here where Solar doesn't quite have his full defensive army yet. He is hitting and killing a lot of queens.
Yeah, I assumed we would have a little bit more Roaches. A lot of the queens are going to be going down. These Archons putting in a lot of work, but their buffer is now gone. 3 more Zealots come in to reinforce, and is 3 Zealots going to be enough as the Archons get into the mineral line?
And to shave off a couple of drones here.
Up!
More roaches do pop. The drones are so bunched up. The splash damage is absolutely real right now.
Oh my
Archon
god.
surprisingly still alive. One of them is so low. Does
Get
get taken out, but there are still 3 more where that came from.
Oh my god, here come the Zealot reinforcements. They're getting into the middle line. Drones are being forced off the line. It looks like the Roach reinforcements will eventually clean this up, but it's a lot of drones going down.
That's a ton of drones going down. Solar's lost his income lead, or his worker lead.
He really has, and it looks like the Zealots are doing a little bit more here. Is it barely enough to break
coming.
Solar? It looks like it is.
They just keep coming and they don't stop coming.
Yeah, that proxy
So he's
gateway.
warping in 3 at a time.
He is warping in 3 at a time, but he gets in. He breaks through the roaches. He's gonna get even more drones, and these roaches. Sorry, these drones are so low. Oh god, can he get them?
One volley from an Archon is all it's gonna take to take out all of these drones. He doesn't even need those. He can just take them out with.
DTs.
He can just take them out with DTs and Zealots. DTs not quite as tanky as Zealots, but they do have a lot more DPS, and that might be just about what JieShi needs right now to take out the detection.
That's it. That's it, Bobby.
Yo.
They take down the spawn. Oh my god, but we do have an Overseer coming in just in time. We see a full surround as well. The DTs have to make a choice. They go for the hatchery.
I mean, even if Soul's able to clean up from here, can he recover?
No.
GG, apparently not. JieShi ties up that series. What is it about Data C?
Oh my god, GG. When he was moving out with his Archons, I was like, can he really break through? Like, he only has 3 gateways. He can barely reinforce this. Solar should be making... He was making roaches, but just barely didn't have enough. Just, it was really close.
It absolutely was. Oh, man. Oh, man, I thought Solar really had it after he defended against the initial waves of DTs, but Solar or JieShi rather, just kept coming and didn't stop coming.
Didn't stop coming. The reinforcements were barely enough to break the back of Solar there. It was so close. And yeah, after all said and done, we're going into the ace match. We're going into game 3.
Inside and out. Solar, our final Zerg player, could be eliminated from today's bracket.
Oh boy.
As we conclude our best of 3 quarterfinals now on Inside and Out, where over here in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner, we have our red Protoss player coming out from the land of China. He, of course, is going to be representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming DPG. He is JieShi.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Inside now, we have his opponent representing On Side Gaming. It's a South Korean Zerg player, the final Zerg player in the entire tournament. It is Solar.
Everybody, send him your energy, Zerg players, if you want to prevent a TVP or a TVT or a PvP finals.
Oh boy, yeah, can he do it for Zerg kind? That is the question here. Bearing in mind, I did take note in the lobby, we will have to count. In the rush to make the lobby itself, we do not have WCS game hard, so have to test our accounting abilities once again. But yes, Solar.
One.
2.
3. There we go.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, you got it, man. You got it. Let's go. Yeah, really, really interesting turn of events there. Like, JieShi doing a great job at hiding his build last game, but bear that in mind. It was because he was able to keep it hidden from Solar. Can he do something similar to that in game number 3?
Well, I highly doubt that Solar's going to be as... I wouldn't really say complacent. I mean, he was still trying to scout wherever he could, but he's going to be doubly sure to... he's going to be doubly vigilant with his scouting this game.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. I imagine so. You know, let's get Overlord speed. Let's commit to Lings, like trying to slip on past the wall. We'll see. We'll see how Solar does, because as a reminder, this tournament doesn't have a lower bracket. it is single elimination. So once you're out, you're out.
That's it.
You're done.
Gunge.
Bunch. Like the wind.
Gunge. Smoge.
Oh, God. As once again, JieShi is going for not a Stargate.
Yeah, Twilight Council. Not really sure what it is about JieShi here, but I guess I appreciate that he's sort of eschewed the current meta of Stargates. He does focus a lot more on his glaives, on his DTs. Part of it could just be because, you know, he is up against Solar. He knows he's a bit of the underdog. So he kind of knows that he has to pull out something different, but I'm into it.
Yeah, it is very kind of out of meta, as you were saying, and we'll see if he can pull this off. Solar, likewise, actually cutting drones very heavily. Solar wants to be the aggressor here. He's going for a mass Ling Flood. No Bailing Nest, bear that in mind. A Ling Flood against Adepts. We don't have a shield battery, and Glaives is still a ways off. Uh-oh.
Quite a ways off, yeah. Even if he is able to throw down... Oh, this probe needs to get in position, needs to throw down a secondary wall. The pylon is there, but there's plenty of surface area on this cyber core, on this gateway as well. So many Lings are starting to flood in. This is what happens when there's no... this is what happens when there's no shield battery.
Exactly, shield battery is on the way, the secondary wall is up and running, so even though a gateway falls, the Lings do not find a way in. They're going to be able to get us around on this cyber core, and killing the cyber core will delay the push.
By a lot. I do appreciate the foresight on JieShi. He's already getting a backup cyber core, but like you said, JieShi needed to push out now with 8 or so Adepts. He is now limited to the 5 that he has. And it's going to take him another couple of minutes or so before he can really go across the map.
Yeah.
Or another minute or so.
I really worry for Solar, though, because a couple of things have happened. One, he doesn't have a lot of gas. He does have a Roach Horn on the way, but even when the Roach Horn finishes, he can't make that many Roaches. So he's only going to have Lings and Queens to defend. And these Glaive Adepts, if JieShi commits to the push with another round of Adepts, which he isn't, to be fair, but if he did, Solar wouldn't have the most ideal army to defend.
You really wouldn't. You can get away with using Lings to defend the depths in low amounts, like so, but you know, I think once JieShi scouts the gases, he will have a decision to make. Will I commit to this, or will I try to transition out?
Yeah, and
if he commits, I'm not liking Soul's chances.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, regardless, these Adepts are going to get cleaned up. They did trade relatively well, all things considered, and it goes to show that if we had, you know, say 6 more Adepts there, then I do think that JieShi would have been able to snowball. Unfortunately, that is not the case. He backs off. He's working on charge instead, so he's going to be transitioning into a different kind of push.
He really is. And that's going to take a while before he can get it up and running now. He does have a gateway explosion now, and focusing on Zealots against Roaches, it's not a bad army composition, but it's also not a very sophisticated one.
Yeah, and because of Solar's early Ling Flood, like again, his drone count isn't ideal. He's just now working on all his gases, which he desperately needs for more Roaches. He's making a flood of Lings. I almost wish that he threw down an earlier Bailing Nest to make up for his Roach deficit. So we'll see how things go here. The main army of JieShi is pushing out. At the same time, a run-by is being set up.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that Bailing Nest idea. One Bailing Nest, and Solar would have pretty much won the game already.
Oh boy, exactly. Here we go. The army's pushing on forward. At the same time, Ling Run-by is going to eviscerate the third base of JieShi.
Yeah, if JieShi wasn't all in before, he absolutely is now. These force fields, funnily enough, I think are actually helping Solar out more than they are helping JieShi.
They're forcing a bit of a choke point here, and it looks like there are just too many Roaches. Solar shuts down this push, and...
Oh, the Lings!
Oh, the Lings, mate, they break on in.
To the other side, they have killed 13 probes, actually. Not that many.
Yeah, 13 probes. I believe all the probes were at the third base. The Zealot army gets cleaned up, and now Solar's going for a massive Roach counterattack. This is without Roach speed, so they're just going to waddle across the map, but JieShi just doesn't really have a lot left to defend.
Yeah, he's got Zealots, and he's got Sentries. It's not a lot either way.
It really isn't. The Lings, the wall. Oh god, it is not a wall. The Lings, they slip on in anyway. It looks like Solo doesn't want to go for a push yet. He's waiting for Roach speed. So he will back off.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that he is taking a bit more of a cautious approach. Obviously, he has a much larger and better army at the moment. But do you really want to? Go into an opponent with defender's advantage when you yourself don't have an escape plan?
Yeah, that's the real thing that's holding Solar back for the time being. He's just waiting for his upgrades to kick in. Here at the third base, we do have a shield battery, but only a single shield battery. JieShi can't really afford too much to defend because he lost so many workers earlier. He is struggling to rebuild what he lost. He's actually transitioning into Blink Stalkers. Yeah,
a little bit of a sign of desperation. I mean, it'll work out really well against the Roaches, but what about Lings?
Yeah, I feel like he needs to take up in a different direction. Robo just now gets thrown down, but I think this is just a little bit too late. I think prioritizing the Robo, maybe going into faster disruptors would have been a way to go. For the time being, this just isn't ideal against Roaches. Like the Zealots, they can just get kited for days. The Sentries can throw down their force fields, but we have Ravagers for that.
Yeah, and there aren't even that many Sentries to begin with.
There really aren't, as it looks like a fourth base is on the way. JieShi, he's being given a lot of time, and with that time, you know, he's doing his best to try and tech and transition. But look at that soup. Oh boy.
It ain't lying. Solus, if not for the supply block, would be maxed out by now. JieShi's still struggling, and he himself is supply blocked anyway.
Yeah, he's a little bit supply blocked. Solar has the high ground. JieShi trying to push up this ramp into Roach Ravager.
The Biles do land on force fields, on sentries, on everything. JieShi trying to pump out an Immortal, but it is just not gonna pump. GG is called. Solar takes that series 2-1. Again, very reminiscent of game number 1. Very solid reactive play coming out from Soul. I mean, he did opt for the Link Flood to start with, but after that, he just played reactive the entire time.
Yeah, he really did, and I think that Link Flood really did kind of force JieShi to stumble a little bit. I don't think he really intended to commit into Zealots, but because the Cybercore died, it looks like he warped in some Zealots, and he's like, well, I got to do something. He's like, I got to make some use of this, and he committed, and it wasn't really the most ideal situation for that.
Yeah, unfortunately not. But he definitely made it close against both Solar here, the best Zerg player in Korea right now, and close against Nice, the best player from Taiwan. So a pretty good result regardless here from JieShi.
Oh yeah, very good indeed. So I hope JieShi isn't feeling too bad about his results here. Taking a game off of Solar is not the easiest thing to do, and it looks like Solar has an opponent ready and waiting.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that that series finished up quicker, but Byun did take out Chance 2-1 as well. And so we are going to be getting into a TVZ, Byun versus Solar. Meanwhile, over on Steadfast's channel, we actually have confirmation of the other semifinals. Gumiho has taken out Time, which is actually a little bit surprising to me, and Hero has taken out Classic.
Wow.
So that will be a TVP over at Steadfast channel.